Good afternoon. Any doubts you have? No doubt? Have you revised your notes? വീട്ടിൽ പോയിട്ട് വായിച്ചോ? വായിച്ചില്ല? വായിച്ചു നോക്കി? ഒന്നും മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ? മറിച്ച് നോക്കി. ഓക്കെ. We will study a new topic today, aptitude and foundational values in civil services. Aptitude and foundational values in civil service. That is the topic that we are going to study today first. Then we will deal with constitutional morality. Right? Then we will deal with code of conduct and code of ethics. Then emotional intelligence. So 4 topics we'll cover. If time permits, we'll cover one more. Right? So aptitude. You must be very much familiar with one paper, Civil Service Aptitude Test. So or no? So what is that aptitude in that paper? What is that paper tests? It tests the aptitude of you for a civil servant. They are checking whether you have that aptitude to become a civil servant. Can you tell me what this aptitude is? Aptitude. A-P-T-I-T-U-D-E, aptitude. As per American Psychological Association, aptitude is a capacity to acquire a competency or a skill through training. Why am I giving you this definition? Because this is the one of the most conceptually sound definition. Conceptually sound, appropriate. Your job is what? If a question comes in aptitude, on aptitude for that matter, you should be able to write it. So the definition which I am giving you should use in the examination if asked. So what is aptitude? Aptitude is the capacity to acquire a competency or a skill through training. Aptitude is not the capacity you already have. This you must understand. Aptitude is not what you already have. It is what you are capable of having. It is what you are capable of having. In civil service aptitude test, whether you are capable of becoming a civil servant is tested. Common aptitude test, CAT, whether you are capable of being a manager if tested. Clear? Similarly, GMAT or etc. etc. So aptitude is not something which tests what you have. It tests whether you are capable of having something. In other words, aptitude is future oriented. Future oriented. Aptitude is future oriented. If through some test a person's aptitude is tested and found out that okay, he has the aptitude to become a musician, let's say an academician or a mathematician or a footballer or an actor or a doctor, whatever that might be, then is it not possible that we can direct that individual to that field? If let's say aptitude for music is tested and found out that I have the aptitude for music, so I can be trained in that field. If it is found that through a test a person has great logical power, argument or linguistic capacity. Don't you think that that person can be or the child can be what? Oriented or directed towards law, to become a lawyer, because yes or no, or an academician, right? A person has a great leadership skill, it is been found out through test, then maybe a managerial MBA, or maybe politics, or maybe bureaucracy. So aptitude is something which tests your potential ability to acquire something. It is not testing what you have, but what you can have. Are you able to understand? There is a view that this aptitude is by birth. Aptitude is by birth. Whether you will become a musician or a doctor or an advocate, whatever that might be, it is decided by your genes or your birth. This view is called innate view of aptitude. Innate. What is the meaning of that innate? By birth. So when you are born, when you take birth, your genes will decide what you will become. If I am paraphrasing this into civil services, whether you will become a civil servant or not, it is already decided. Because according to this view, which view? Innate. It is the genes that will decide. In other words, the view which says that it is predominantly your biology, your genes or your birth that will decide your aptitude. This view is called nature view of aptitude. Which view? Nature view. The debate is between these two, nature view and nurture view. We are discussing nature. What is this view? Predominantly your birth or your biology or your genes will decide your aptitude. What is this view? Nurture. Nurturing. What does it mean? Education, culture, family upbringing. So this view says it is predominantly your nurture. Technically it is called environmental scaffolding. New phrase for you. Environmental scaffolding. What does it mean? It simply means that your family upbringing, the community, the culture, the educational institutions, the socialization, your school, all these decide your aptitude. This says by birth. This says no, the environment will decide. In other words, if it is a civil servant we are taking, the nature view says it is already decided predominantly. How much you study, right? Whatever coaching you do, all these things will have very less relevance. This view says no, the coaching, teaching, this class, everything will help you to become civil servant. Which view is correct according to you? Both the view have some great mistakes or some grave errors. None of these view can be taken as correct. Why is it so? There are few reasons. I am saying there are some strong criticisms against this view and this view. Neither this is completely correct nor this is completely correct. What are the criticism of this view? It says ignores environment. Number 2, promotes biological determinism. Number 3, can result into perpetuation of social inequality. Number 4, measurement problem. Dear, what I am teaching you, this is a ready-made answer. Not only an answer, something which will provide you that kind of clarity. Because when you look at this attitude, aptitude, you'll find that somebody is defining aptitude as some confusing words, some confusing language, and you are not getting clarity. And what is this nature? Innate. It is only when you start reading about this, you'll understand how confusing it is. That is the reason I am explaining you this way. What is the criticism? Ignores environment. Do you really think that this environment, education, for example, has no role to play? Just because somebody has musical aptitude, if the person is not getting appropriate exposure, or let's say coach, he or she cannot reach to that level. So, it ignores the role of environment. Environmental scaffolding is ignored, which is a major criticism. Promotes biological determinism. What does it mean? If somebody's fate is already decided by birth, what you will become, will not become, it's already decided. So will you actually work? If this will promote what? A deterministic view, which means whatever effort you do, whatever investment you do on yourself, whatever hard work you carry out, does not matter. If in CSAT you failed once, let's hypothetically speaking, this you say, you see, you don't have the gene. You don't have the gene, you don't have the birth, capable, you cannot become. Is it so? No, if the person analyzes the reason for the failure and works accordingly, definitely the person can clear the examination. It is as simple as that. Why do you think UPSC is giving 6 attempts for general category? UPSC could have said, okay, you failed in CSAT once, which means you don't have the aptitude, you will not get any other attempt. If this is the view. That's not correct, na? Because when you invest your effort, time, energy on yourself, you can improve. You can change your fate. So this view is not appropriate. Then, can result in perpetuation of social inequality. In society, there are some groups which are always privileged, and there are some groups which are at the lower end of the social strata. Let's take casteism. What is the idea behind caste? If you are born in some particular group, then only you can become that. Like the caste structure. Varna system is a classic example of this. If the nature view is the prevalent view, then it will perpetuate the social inequalities within society and the system. Some groups will claim that naturally we are born in this particular group, naturally we have the aptitude, then only we can become doctors or advocates or judges or civil servants or ministers, like that. Are you able to understand? This will promote that. Then measurement problem. What does it mean? Aptitude is something which can be measured. That is a CSAT, there is a test. Aptitude can be measured. But when you are measuring the aptitude, you simply cannot exclude the influence which you had as far as the environment is concerned. For example, CSAT. You are giving this examination after studying, solving questions, maybe coaching. All are these what? Environmental influence, na? So, whether the CSAT question separate this aptitude which you have through birth or gene or aptitude through environment, are they separating? No, na, question is same. Question is same. The influence of the environment, the importance or significance or benefit that you gained through education, all these factors cannot be excluded from measurement. For example, let's say this circle, this is your aptitude, right? This is your birth. The aptitude which you have through birth. Because you already know some quant or reasoning, etc. This is something through studies. This is a total aptitude. Now let me ask you the CSAT. This paper is testing this alone or this alone? Together, na? Is it possible to separate this from this? Is it possible? Not possible. How is it possible? The test is checking only the question paper. Do you have any section? Okay, aptitude dealing with your birth, aptitude dealing with your environment. Is there any segregation? The segregation is not possible. you say nature is the predominant way, then you are measuring. You cannot measure. Empirically, it is not possible to measure those aptitude which is by birth. In any case, when you measure aptitude, environmental influence will automatically be there. Are you able to understand? Very good. Now, as far as this is concerned, nature, what is the problem here? I am not using Malayalam today. Because what happens is that people from other states, they may not be able to understand Malayalam. That is why I am using very simple English. Any problem you are having? Three major criticism. Number one, cannot explain natural differences. You see, can you name any cannot explain natural differences? First, can you tell me any child prodigy? Prodigy means at the very initial, P-R-O-D-I-G-Y, prodigy means an individual at the having immense skill or excellence. Let's say Ronaldo, prodigious footballer. You are able to understand? Mammootty and Mohanlal, prodigious actor. That is what it is, prodigy. So there are child prodigies, which means right from at the age of 7 or 8 or 9, they have immense skill. There is a program in your channel. What is that program? Indian Idol, not Indian Idol, Star Singer. Star Singer program is there, na? Where? പാട്ട് പാടുന്ന ചെറിയ കുട്ടികൾ എങ്ങനെ ചെറിയ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് പാട്ട് പാടാൻ പറ്റുന്നത് ഇത്ര നന്നായിട്ട്? ആർ ദേ ബീങ് ട്രെയിൻഡ് പ്രോപ്പർലി? നോ, ദേ ഹാവ് innate. Similarly, chess, those right people. So you will find that there are children who are showing remarkable aptitude, whether it is music or arts or maybe mathematics or maybe chess. How do you explain this? Because they have not been trained to that level. They have not been a part of educational institutions to that extent. Atradhiyam training ഒന്നും അവർക്ക് കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ലല്ലോ. How do you explain this? Gene, by birth. Number one, are you able to understand? Number two, difference in aptitude but same environment. Same environment. Let's say you are in a class, there are 50 students. Whether all the 50 have same aptitude? No, na. Somebody might be good at singing, somebody might be in acting, somebody might be in drawing, somebody can speak well, somebody can write well. So same environment but different aptitude. How do you explain this? If environmental or education is the most important aspect, then how do you explain these differences in aptitude? One family തന്നെ, let's say 2 children, they have different aptitude. Are you able to understand? So this one. Third, if there have been studies have been conducted. Online students, are you able to understand? Very good. There have been studies, proper empirical studies. Proper studies have been conducted on whom? Identical twins and adopted children. Identical twins. Let's say I have a identical twin. I am brought up by my family, and this individual has been brought up in another city far away by another family. My education is different, his education is different, his upbringing different, my upbringing different. But it is found that in almost all the cases, we both have same aptitude. If I am good at, let's say, football, he is also like that. How do you explain this? The environment is different, but same aptitude. Gene, birth, biology. Similarly, adopted children. Let's say I have a brother, right? At the childhood, I am being adopted by somebody else. Despite being at a faraway place, despite being brought up by another family, Despite being having another educational exposure, my aptitude and his aptitude is similar. So the point is that this nurture view is also having many weaknesses. That is why we have a view which synthesizes, combines both these views. That view is called reaction range view. I am teaching you psychology. Reaction range view. You will not get this anywhere, but here. The view that synthesizes or balances or which is appropriate is called reaction range view. It is given by Gottsman, Gottesman. Name is not important, but to make it depthful, to provide authenticity. What is this view, reaction range? Range, it says that your biology or your birth or your genes, it decides the range, and the environment will decide where in that range you will fall. For example, (55 to 80) is a range. Let's say this is a range which is measured for aptitude, right? Let's take about music. The aptitude for music has been measured, and it is found that it falls around 55 to 80 for a child. If the child is not given any education or training in music, he will remain at, let's say, 60. But if he is given training or musical training or exposure, etc., then he can reach around, let's say, 75. So this is the maximum range, this is the minimum. This is how the theory says. It says the gene or your biology decides a range, a lower range and higher range. And this range reacts to the environment. The environment will decide where within this range the individual will fall. Appropriate training, education, exposure, experience, etc. will push this. Vinod Kambli, you know Vinod Kambli? Vinod Kambli, cricketer. He and Sachin Tendulkar started their journey together. Where is Sachin and where is Kambli? Why is it so? One of the major reasons is environment. He must have got opportunities, but he did not utilize it properly. So the exposure, the experience, and the individual's own effort, all these things created problems for him. You will find, let's say, in your own area, even maybe in your own family, that individuals having at childhood level or let's say at school level, they were very brilliant. But when they go to college or let's say any other, they were unable to utilize their what? Potential. Right? So the point is, reaction range theory sums up the debate. What is the debate? Whether aptitude is purely innate or it is based on nurture. It is neither purely innate nor purely nurtured. It requires, it is a interplay between genetics, that is biology, and environment. That is the view that you must take. Question can be asked whether aptitude is innate or developed. Aptitude is neither purely innate nor purely can be developed. The genes decide a range and the environment will decide where you will fall. This is also called determinants of aptitude. Determinants. One determinant is nature, another determinant is nurture. What is the most appropriate view? Reaction range view. Are you able to understand? Now that we understood the concept of attitude, not attitude, aptitude, let us go to some questions. Okay. Let us discuss some foundational values, then we will take questions. What is the chapter's name in ethics? Aptitude and foundational values. So we understood what is aptitude. And the link between aptitude and foundational value is what we are going to study. Before that, let us understand foundational value. What are the foundational values? Foundational value. Foundational values for civil service. Civil service. For civil service to function efficiently, effectively, ethically, some values are must, necessary. These values are called foundational values. For example, integrity, impartiality, accountability, transparency, etc., 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 etc. Now the question is, from where these foundational values have come from? Who has given this foundational value? If it written down in one document, or if it being given by, or let's say, was it given by any scholar, or if it given by the government? There are multiple sources from where the foundational values have been taken. One such source is Max Weber. You will study about Max Weber, Weberian bureaucracy in foundation batch. Max Weber provided his theory of bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, civil service, public service, although they are different, but let us take them as interchangeably, right? He developed a theory of bureaucracy. In that theory, he said some of these features or values are necessary for bureaucracy. Then only it will become more efficient and rational. What are these values? Neutrality, anonymity, right? Merit-based, integrity, etc. There is another individual called Woodrow Wilson. You will study about Woodrow Wilson in foundation. He gave the concept of politics administration dichotomy. Dichotomy means what? Different. Politics will have different function. Admin will have different function. Politics will make laws and make policies. Admin will implement laws and implement policy. So this Woodrow Wilson also has given some foundational values like accountability, impartiality, etc. One of the most important document or development or commission that has given a series of foundational values is the Nolan Committee. Have you heard about this Nolan Committee? Nolan Committee. Committee on Standards in Public Life. That is the name of this committee. Committee on Standards of Ethics in Public Life. Established in 1994 in UK. This committee gave its report in 1995. It has identified 7 values for public service, which are held to be universally applicable. What are those values? I have developed a code for this to remember. My code is Hi Lasu. Lasu is my friend, so I tell Hi Lasu. So you can remember this way or you can make your own code. One of the best way of learning this, not only this, many other facts is by making codes. Right? S stands for what? Honesty. I stands for what? Integrity. One second. Online students, everything is fine? Okay. H stands for honesty, I stands for integrity, L stands for leadership, A stands for accountability, F stands for selflessness, O stands for objectivity, O stands for openness. Now UPSC has asked one question. Can you read these two questions? Ask me. Which one? L, leadership. Last. Objectivity, openness. Objectivity, openness. Selflessness. Can you read these two questions? Identify 5 ethical traits on which one can plot the performance of a civil servant. Ethical trait, na? Ethical. Justify their inclusion in the matrix. Please tell me, can you tell me 5 ethical traits? Right? And one reason this is asking, justify their inclusion. Why did you? What is the reason that you included these 5 in this matrix? I mean, to judge or evaluate the civil servant performance, you said, okay, honesty, integrity, leadership, accountability, selflessness, these 5 I have taken. And on these parameters, I will judge how much honesty he has, whether he has integrity or not, like that. Can you tell me one reason for choosing these 5? This is asking, na, justify their inclusion. Justify the inclusion of these 5 in their matrix. Why have you chosen these 5? Because this has been given by Nolan Committee and it has been accepted as a universal value system. So this will provide multiple help in answering questions. Now tell me, please read this. Identify 10 essential values that are needed to be an effective public servant. Describe the ways and means to prevent non-ethical behavior in the public servants. 10 essential values. 10 essential values. Ten essential values. Can you tell me 7 essential values? The same one, na? The same 7 you already have. So you can write that 7. For just remembering that 7, you will be able to solve multiple questions. If another question is asked, identify 3 universal values which are highly relevant for civil services. Can you take 3 from this? From the 7? So just remembering the 7 will help you to solve multiple questions. That is the intent. That is the idea of telling you this. Now this question is asking, identify 10 essential values that are needed to be an effective public servant. 10. 7 you already have. Then what you need to add? 3 more. 3 more you can add, na? Impartiality is not there. That can be added. 8. Then what you can? Fairness. There are multiple: empathy, compassion, lot of things are there. So the benefit of the class or the way I am teaching you is that you will be able to use one content or one fact and apply it in multiple questions. Don't run behind content. Don't run behind material. Don't think that I should have ready-made content for each and every question. No. You should be able to use one content, one fact and apply it in multiple domain, multiple question, multiple level and multiple ways. How will you get that? Conceptual clarity, revision, brainstorming and practice. This is the process. March നോക്കിയിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല പഠിക്കണം ശരിക്കും പോയിട്ട് എന്നാലേ മനസ്സിലാവുള്ളൂ. Right? Now, Let us discuss this also. What is this question? Describe the ways and means to prevent a non-ethical behavior in public servant. Describe the ways and means. Ways and means what? How? How we can prevent the public servant from being unethical. How can we prevent public servant from being unethical? Code of ethics. Enacting a legally binding code of ethics as proposed in the Public Services Bill to replace vague conduct rules with explicit punishable values. Let me take the opportunity to explain code of conduct and code of ethics. I will explain now code of conduct and code of ethics. Code of conduct. What is code of conduct? Tolerance, Reshma, very good. Tolerance, selflessness, perseverance, very good, very good. What is code of conduct? You see, what I want in my students is that don't get panicked. Break down the words. Code means what? What is a code? Indian Penal Code, you know, you have heard about it. Indian Penal Code. Why is it a code? Code is a collection of laws or rules or regulation. Let's say law A, B, C, D, E, etc., etc., etc. EF. Law A, law B, law C, law D, E, F. How many laws? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these laws were combined in one single law. Let's say law Y. This Y is the code. Simply means combining. Code is something which combines multiple rules, regulations or laws. Insolvency, bankruptcy code. So or no? So code is what? Code is a combination or compilation of multiple laws, rules or regulations. Now here, this code, we are talking about what? Code of conduct for civil services, yes or no? So for civil services, there are multiple laws, rules, regulations, etc. What is conduct? Behavior. A code which regulates the behavior of civil servant is code of conduct. Yes or no? I am saying a code of conduct or code of conduct is the code which regulates the behavior of civil servants. Now what is code? A set of laws, rules and regulations which govern or regulate the behavior of civil servant, both professional and personal. That is called code of conduct. I'll explain. I'll repeat once again. You can write if you want. Code of conduct is a set of laws, rules, regulations, etc., which regulate the behavior of civil servants, whether professional or personal. Dowry is prohibited. One thing, dowry. Sridharam medikam paadilla. Sridharam actually Kalyanam for that matter. Kalyanam is a personal affair, na? Kalyanam personal alle, professional allo. But still the code of conduct says no dowry. Publicly madhyam kadikkan paadilla. Adum paranundu. Right? All these are actually personal. Gift. You can't take gift from your relative or any other person if it exceeds a particular amount. Adhigam kaashulla gift medikkan paadilla. Anganekku undu. Although code of conduct governs the professional life of the civil servant predominantly, it also regulates some of the personal affairs also. Are you able to understand? Now what are the components of code of conduct? First component is what? If it is all India service, All India Service Conduct Rules 1968. Prevention of Corruption Act 1980, 1988. Then, what else? Official Secrets Act 1923. Now, in other words, there are multiple laws and regulations. 1, 2, 3, 4, multiple. Predominantly, you have All Day Service Conduct Rules 1958 for all day services, or Central Service Conduct Rules 1964 for central services. Along with that, multiple laws like Official Secrets Act, Prevention of Corruption Act, Lokpal Act, etc., etc., etc. And many rules, then pension rules, multiple things are there. In other words, these set make a code, but it is true that there is no single book or a law or any document which says this is code of conduct. In other words, code of conduct is a collection of laws, rules, regulations which are spread over multiple documents or multiple areas. For example, AS, Prevention of Corruption Act, Official Secrets Act, Pension Rules, Lokpal Act, then let's say BNS, BNSS, etc., etc., and many more. ഇതെല്ലാതും കമ്പൈൻ ചെയ്ത് ഒരു ലോ ആക്കിയിട്ടില്ല. These are scattered in multiple areas. Are you able to understand? Code of conduct. But there is a view that this code of conduct has many problems, because of which we require code of ethics. What is that? Code of conduct has many problems, because of which we require what? Code of ethics. What are those problems with respect to code of conduct? What are the problems with respect to code of conduct? Second Administrative Reform Commission. Second Administrative Reform Commission, also called Veerappa Moily Commission, because he was the head of that commission, 2008-9. This commission has identified some problems with respect to code of conduct. With respect to code of conduct, this commission has identified some problems. Write down. Number 1. Heading: Problems with respect to code of conduct, as identified by SARC. SARC. SARC means Second Administrative Reform Commission. Number 1. Negative versus positive compliance. Negative versus positive compliance. Negative versus positive compliance. The code of conduct, in this you write, in this point you write. What I am dictating right now is explanation of the first point, right? The code of conduct predominantly tells the civil servants what not to do and provide little guidance on what they should do. In the first point, what have you written? What is the first point? Negative versus positive compliance or guidance. Right, please cut it, change it. Instead of compliance, write guidance. Instead of compliance, write guidance. Instead of compliance, write guidance. Number 2. Promotes compliance culture. Promotes compliance culture. As per second IRC or as per SARC, SARC, capital, As per SARC, a civil servant can practically follow the entire code of conduct and at the same time act in a morally questionable manner. Morally questionable manner. Number 3, vague terms and language. Vague terms and language. Vague terms and language. The code of conduct is replete, R-E-P-L-E-T-E, replete with vague or ambiguous terminologies and phrases. Ambiguous, A-M-B-I-G-U-O-U-S, ambiguous words and terminologies which hardly provide any clarity of action. For instance, the phrase conduct unbecoming of an officer. Conduct unbecoming of an officer, comma, which is highly vague. Unbecoming of an officer, comma, which is highly vague and can be used to unjustly penalize a junior by a senior officer. Next, fourth, the code of conduct is viewed as more reactive in nature. That is, penalizing the civil servant after the action has happened. After the action or conduct has happened. Hence, it is not proactive. Rather reactive. Proactive, P-R-O-A-C-T-I-V-E. Proactive, rather reactive in nature. You see, these are the reasons which the second ARC has found out. And these reasons are very self-explanatory. Yes or no? That is why we require a code of ethics. And now, what is a code of ethics? What is code of ethics? See this, code of ethics. All these definitions are made by me. Right? A set of normative yardsticks regulating civil service conduct, focusing on expected behavior. Or a system of moral compass that enables the civil service or civil servant to positively perform their duties and responsibilities, promoting ethical governance. Or code of ethics refers to the values and principles acting as behavioral standards for civil services aimed at ethical compliance rather than mere legal compliance. A code of ethics is a set of normative values acting as behavioral standards for civil services aimed at driving internal ethical compliance rather than mere legal conformity. Now, in simple words, what is a code of ethics? A set of values and principles which provide moral guidance, to the civil service with respect to expected standard of behavior. You will get this PDF, but it's good that you are writing. So what is code of ethics? A code of values and principle. You see, what was the code of conduct? A set of laws, rule, regulation. Here what it is? Set of values and principles. Set of values and principles which deals with expected standard of behavior of civil servant. Expected standard of behavior of civil servant. They deal more with what the civil servant should do. You don't have to write, just hear this. So code of ethics is what? It deals with more of what the civil servant should do. Code of conduct deals with what? Should not do. Generally, it's true that code of conduct has both do's and don'ts, but it is more focusing on what they should not do. We can understand this code of ethics. This way. Why? What? How? This you must write. It's not there in the book, PDF. People who attend class will have benefit. People who attend the class will have benefit. Why, what and how? This is the first pillar of code of ethics. First pillar, second pillar, third pillar. First pillar is why. Why have you joined the civil service? You have not joined the civil service for pay, perk, or promotion. No. What is that you have joined for? You have joined to serve the people and uphold the values of the Constitution. If this why is there in your mind, then what you will do? You will do the right thing, yes or no? You may, or you can do. Whether you do it or not, I cannot guarantee. My job is to teach you, and your job is to learn it and score good marks. I am not here to make you ethical. And right, it's your personal choice. But I am here to make you knowledgeable in ethics. That is my job, and I will do that. And of course, I require your support. What? What is what? What deals with decision making? What you actually do? What deals with what? What you actually do? Or decision making. When you make a decision or when you take a decision, when you act, that action or decision should be what? Should be for the larger public interest, not for self-interest. The action or decision which you will take should be for what? Public interest, not for self-interest. There may be situations where laws and rules might be silent. Law might not be there, rules might not be there, clarity might not be there, laws might come into conflict. Then you have to take discretion on judgment. Then also the discretion based judgment or decision should be for what is the difference between compassion and empathy. Give me some time, I'll explain. The similarity is that the civil service does not have both. I am saying what? What means what you do? Whatever you do should be for what? The public, not for you. Even though the laws are silent, rules might be silent, there might not be clarity, you can use discretion, which means you can own judgment you can use. That also should be what? Larger public interest. What is how? How means excellence. Don't work like, don't do what is called work to rule. Work to rule. Work to rule, which means come in the office at 10 o'clock and leaving at 5. Having a 1 hour lunch break, 30 minutes tea break, etc., etc. Coming late to the office. No. You must work as if work is your life. You must have excellence in whatever you do. If a policy is to be implemented, you must put your heart and soul into that work. So how is about how you do your work? You must have excellence in everything you do. These are the 3 pillars or foundational structure of code of conduct. Are you able to understand? Now let us deal with the difference between code of conduct and code of ethics. The code of ethics. What happened? Code of ethics. I said these 3 are the fundamental pillars or structure of code of ethics. This is what I said, na? Or conduct ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് എന്താ? Ethics എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത് കുഴപ്പമില്ല. It means that you are listening properly. Very good. This is the difference between code of conduct and code of ethics. UPSC already asked. Distinguish between these two. So I have given wonderful things for you. Let us read this. Origin. Derived from philosophical principles, core moral values, reports of Nolan Committee, second years, etc. Code of ethics. Derived from statutory laws, executive orders, like as I mentioned, CCF rules, AIF rules, PML, Prevention of Corruption Act, etc. Scope, broad and flexible, narrow and rigid. Okay, do one thing. I am giving you 2 minutes to read this. Please go through each and every point. Try to understand. If you are not understanding, you ask me. Take time and read. when you are making notes, don't copy paste the language. Use own language and try to write. This thing you simply cannot write in the examination, right? Use own language and concise it. This is written in order to make you understand. One important distinction or one important doubt that you may have is this. Last one, status. Generally non-justiciable. Voluntary and lacks legal teeth. You cannot be suspended purely for a lack of empathy. Legally binding, punitive. You see, if you violate code of conduct, let's say you took bribe, so you can be punished. So code of conduct violation will attract legal punishment, because code of conduct is legally backed, rules, regulation, etc. In general, this code of ethics is not legally backed. It might be like a document, a book, but it is not codified in a law. There is no code of ethics law, like there is Prevention of Corruption Act or Code of Conduct for Civil Servants, 1964 rules, etc. But there are many countries where code of ethics also have what is called legal sanction, which means even if you violate the code of ethics, you can be punished, like UK and Australia. But in general, the intent behind code of ethics is moral sanction, not legal sanction. But in the Indian context, we do not have a code of ethics for civil servants. There is code of ethics for what? Doctors. Code of ethics for advocates. There is no code of ethics for civil servants in India. But Second Administrative Reform Commission has recommended that there should be a code of ethics. And he also said that this code of ethics should be statutorily backed, which means legal sanction should also be given for code of ethics, which means if you violate code of ethics, then you can be punished. This code of ethics, which the Second Administrative Reform Commission has recommended, has the following 3 levels. This is the code of ethics which recommended by the Second Administrative Reform Commission, having 3 levels. Let us imagine like a triangle having 3 parts. See this 3-level code for civil services in India. 1, apex level values. On top of the triangle, what it is? Values. Apex level, values. Second level, code of ethics. Third level, code of conduct. It is better to put this way. This is the code for civil services. This is not only code of ethics. This recommendation or this picture is not only code of ethics. This is the holistic comprehensive code for civil services. Because you see this at the bottom, what it is? Code of conduct. Clear? So this is not only, it is not appropriate to say that this represents code of ethics. No, it represents the comprehensive code which regulates the behavior of civil servants, which includes code of ethics also. And at the bottom, code of conduct, and upper level, values. The second IRC has said that A public service bill, comprehensive public service bill need to be enacted. So far we do not have any public service bill which will incorporate these also. So instead of having multiple IPC level provisions or let's say PCA provisions, the government does not want to implement it. You see, the second IRC recommended when 2008, 7, 8, 9. We are in which year? 2026. So, even though the recommendation was there in maybe 2 decades, but not 2 decades, 2008, almost 2 decades. Almost 2 decades have passed, but so far it has not been implemented. What the government has done, new government has done, it has amended All India Service Conduct Rules. In 2014, All India Service Conduct Rules has been amended, where some of the values like this integrity, conduct, of impartiality, commitment to citizen concern, etc., or concerns for weaker section, absolute integrity, these some values have been added to the existing conduct rules. I am saying in 2014, All India Service Conduct Rules has been amended. Some of the values which second IRC recommended to be part of Code of Ethics, they have been incorporated into what? Existing conduct rules. So now we do not have a Code of Ethics, nor we have such a mechanism recommended by second IRC. The second IRC recommended that this code should be given statutory backing by incorporating the provisions under the Public Service Bill. We don't have a Public Service Bill, we don't have a Civil Services Law, right? Many of the conduct of the civil servants are regulated by rules. Rules are made by the government. If there is a law, then it will provide more stability of tenure. Either rules code of conduct, ethics illa. Literally, ethics is not there in field service. There is no code of ethics, there is no ethics. Critics say. Because you can change. You see, you are studying this not to become ethical. Again, I want to tell you this. You are studying this to write answers in ethics. Your job is what? 125 plus. That's it. And if the questions are asked from this ethics in interview board, you should be able to answer properly. I am not here to make you ethical, but to make you knowledgeable in writing answers of ethics. You must be very clear in your mind. Right? You are learning a subject, that's it. If a question is asked, we have to write. We should have points and content. That is the idea. That is the reason I am teaching you. My intent is not to make you ethical, not to make the civil service ethical. So if it happens, it's good. Right? Now that we understand these things, let us come back. Okay, let us do one thing, this also. These are some code of conduct rules. Code of conduct rule for central services, or let us understand this way. You know All India Service, IAS, IPS, IFOS, All India Service. IRS and Indian Postal Service, etc. are what? Central Civil Services. So we have two types of conduct rules. Central Civil Services conduct rules, All India Services conduct rules. There is significant overlapping between them. Right? So these are code of conduct rules which can broadly apply to All India Services as well as Central Services. Please read this. Read the area provision key idea. Please read. You can make your own code, remember. Don't have to remember everything, but broadly you should remember. So one code is given to grip office. Grip office can be used, or you first read the area. Integrity and devotion to duty, that is also conduct requirement. Political neutrality should also be practiced. Gifts, restriction on acceptance of gift beyond a certain monetary level. Beyond a certain monetary level. Similarly, private trade, employment, property declaration, use of official position, confidentiality, criticism of government, regulate public conduct, financial integrity. Code is grip office. Just remember, office. The civil servant is holding it, like gripping. They don't want to be suspended or removed. Yes or no? Once you get into service, what happens? Till you are not retired, you are there. What is this G? G stands for government criticism. No government criticism. Then G stands for gifts. Gift. Then R stands for regulation of public conduct. Regulation of public conduct. I stands for integrity. P stands for political neutrality, private trade, property declaration. 3P. P stands for political neutrality, private trade and property returns. O stands for, what is O? Official position. There should not be misuse of official position. F stands for financial integrity. Official position. F stands for financial integrity. C stands for confidentiality. Okay. So grip office. G stands for government criticism. Gift. R stands for regulate conduct. I stands for integrity. P stands for property return, private trade and political neutrality. O stands for official position. F stands for financial integrity. C stands for confidentiality. You see, you learned this. This is how you must learn. Code-based learning. Remember, when you go home, you must revise it. So it becomes ingrained. The more you revise, content will become etched or ingrained in your mind. And that will provide you confidence. Concept, content, revision, practice. It's the toughest competition that you ever encounter in your life, as far as academics is concerned. If you are not studying, others will study, they will clear, you will end up in what? Wasting your chances, time and effort. If you are not serious, it will only create problems for you and for your family. Right? Now, let us come to this. Which one? What were we discussing? Foundational values. Yes or no? Foundational values. One of the most important foundational values that we are going to study now is integrity. What are we going to study? Integrity. One important foundational value that we are going to study now is integrity. Very important. What is integrity? Integrity, the word integrity has been originated from integritas, a Latin word. The word from which integrity has been originated is the Latin word integritas, I-N-T-E-G-R-I-T-A-S. Have some water. Integritas, I-N, integritas. I-N-T-E, inde, G-R-I-T-I-S, integritas. What was the meaning of the word integritas? Integritas meant, meaning was wholeness or connectedness or completeness. You are going to learn something today as far as integrity is concerned. You will be really happy. You show your notes to your friends who is not attending the class or who is attending class somewhere else. Only show, but don't share the notes. Because it's a competition. Right? So, integrity, the word integrity came from integritas, which meant wholeness, connectedness or completeness. The Romans, completeness. The Romans used this word to refer to wholeness of things. If this whole, I am going to break this, then broken. When something is broken, damaged or destroyed, then it has no integrity. Right? Like this. This is having integrity. Why? It is not broken. It is not damaged. It is complete. It is whole. So the earlier Romans used integritas or the root word of integrity to refer to physical wholeness of things. But later it acquired a different meaning also. It also referred to wholeness of human being, moral quality of individual, moral completeness of individual, or ethical uprightness of individual, from physical to human. So integrity meant what? Integritas, physical wholeness, physical completeness. Later, through evolution, it came to be referred as or referred to human wholeness or human completeness. If a human is having integrity, it means the person has what? Completeness of character or undivided, indivisible moral character. Write down integrity. One definition. Integrity. Integrity is coherence or connectedness or harmony among an individual's thoughts, decisions and actions which are based on moral values and principles. Values and principles. Underline that word. Which word? Moral values and principle. Underline. You see, you will understand this definition properly. Wait. There are 4 views or 4 schools of thought or 4 perspectives as far as integrity is concerned. Four schools of thought or 4 perspectives as far as integrity is concerned. In other words, there are 4 ways of looking at integrity. What is integrity? Number 1 view is called self-integration. Number 2 is called self-constitution. Number 3 is called self-identity. Number 4 is called Integrity as standing for something. Four views. Have you written these four? From the self-integration point of view, integrity is, what is integrity from this point of view? Consonance or coherence between your belief or your thoughts, your decision and what? Action. Sorry. If there is coherence, which means what you think and what you decide and what you act is harmonious. For example, I think corruption is bad. I decide I will not bribe or I will take bribe. And when somebody is offering me bribe, I am refusing. So all the three are what? Harmonious. But there is a major problem with this view. Major problem. The problem is called mafia boss problem. Mafia boss. Mafia boss problem. Mafia leader. He thinks that what? What he is thinking? Corruption, crime, everything. And he is deciding, okay, I will rob this bank. I will do organized crime. And he is doing that. So there is coherence between what he thinks and what he decides and what he does. A terrorist think, yeah, I have to kill people, change the government. And he is deciding, yes, I will do that whenever I get an opportunity. And actually doing it. So there is coherence, there is harmony. Can we call this person having integrity, such people? Can we call a mafia boss or a criminal or a terrorist having integrity? Common sense, tell me. Huh? Can we call a person a terrorist? Definition which is okay, but is that appropriate? Will the society say terrorist has integrity or a criminal has integrity? No, which means this definition is weak. It has limitation, yes or no? That is the idea. So when you say integrity is synchronization or symphony or harmony between or among what you think, what you decide and what you act. Because you will find this definition. Where? In material. Integrity is this. It's not. Because this is the problem. That is why in the definition which I have given you, what is there? Accordance with or based on moral values and principles. If that is the case, then the criminal will not come. But anyway, come back. So this is a problem with this. With this, self-integration view has a problem. Agreed? Because even a criminal or a terrorist can be called a person having integrity according to this definition, which is against even the common sense. Self-constitution. Self-constitution view. What is this view? It says that there should be harmony between your present self and future self. There should be harmony between your present self and future self, or there should not be any conflict between your present self and future self. What does it mean? present self. Let's, I am here. Present self means my present state of mind. Right? And future self means what? Afterwards. Maybe 1 month or 1 week or 1 year, whatever that might be. If I do something today, will I regret or repent that I should not have done that? If I do something today, in the near future, will I regret doing that? Like let's say you give the examination. After coming home, you have the regret. Oh, I should have done this. I should not have done that. I should have left that question. What all feeling you have? Guilt feeling, or regret, or remorse. Yes or no? Why? Because you did something wrong. So here what the view says, there should not be any repentance or remorseness or guilt feeling. If you do something today, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you should not have that thought process that I should not have done that. Which means what you do today should be accepted by you tomorrow, day after tomorrow, as long as you are living. Let's say a civil servant refuses bribe. Civil servant refuses bribe. Now if the civil servant after some day think that okay, oh very sorry, I should have taken that. Or he will think, yes, I have done the right thing. So while refusing the bribe, he is doing the right thing. He is thinking this is the right thing to do. After some time, he is having the same feeling, I have done the right thing. So while doing the act, right thing. After doing that, right thing. So harmony, synchronization. So there is harmony between present state of mind and future state of mind. Are you able to understand? But there is a problem here. The same problem. A terrorist will do terrorist activity, and even after years and years, he or she will have what? No regret, no remorse. A corrupt civil servant can indulge in corruption, continue doing that throughout their entire what? Career. Even after the career, they will be happy that I have accumulated this much wealth and nothing happened to me. I am happy. So such examples show what? This definition is also incomplete or stands on a very weak footing. Are you able to understand? Third one, self-identity view. It says that a person should act according to their deeply held commitments. A person should act according to their deeply held commitments and must be true to their identity. In other words, what? A freedom fighter, what is their deeply held commitment? Freedom for the country. I should fight for the freedom. So every time if I am doing that, I am continually fighting every day, every single day, then I am a person having integrity. Let's say a revolutionary, let's say Bhagat Singh and others, they have done that. So a revolutionary's identity is what? Revolutionary itself. So everything, whatever he does or she does, should be in accordance with those commitments. Another example for you. A civil servant is committed towards what? Excellence. Or let's say public service. So every time the civil servant, whatever he does or she does, is promoting public service. So he is acting what? As per deeply held conviction. Now the same problem is here. Because a terrorist will have a deeply held commitment. What is that? To commit terrorist act. And let's say to fulfill the wish of maybe his or her religion. A civil servant may have a deeply held commitment for wealth maximization. That might be his identity. Don't you think that there are many corrupt civil servants and many corrupt politicians in this country? So or no? And every time indulge in that. Let's say a criminal, a thief, ഒരു കള്ളൻ, ആ കള്ളനെ പിടിച്ചിട്ട് ജയിലിലിട്ടു. കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ തിരിച്ചു വന്നു, വീണ്ടും തെഫ്റ്റ്, വീണ്ടും പിടിച്ച് ജയിലിലിട്ടു, വീണ്ടും അതന്നെ. ഒരു സിനിമയുണ്ട്, പേര് ഞാൻ മറന്നു, അതിൻ്റെ പേര് കൂമൻ എന്നുണ്ട്. കൂമൻ എന്നൊരു സിനിമ, മലയാളം സിനിമ. There is a movie called Kuman. Asif Ali, he is a policeman, but he is get obsessed with theft. So even though he is a policeman and he knows that he is wrong, every night he gets up and tries to do that because he is committed to that identity. Can we call Asif Ali a person of integrity? No. So deeply held commitment or true identity means that socially undesirable identity or activity. Even criminal, terrorist or habitual offenders may be called as people having integrity, which is not appropriate. Yes or no? So all these three have problem. Now this. Cheshire Calhoun has given this view: integrity as standing for something. Integrity as standing for something in public. She says you should not merely have commitment to deeply held moral convictions, which means you must have commitment to deeply held moral convictions, and you should display that in public. You should display that in public. In other words, you must be able to project or show or exhibit or express your deeply held moral conviction in public. So a person having integrity, as per this view, will not be pressurized because of fear, will not be deterred by inducements. He or she will always uphold the moral values in public. One example, you understand this. A civil servant refuses bribery, but there is a person taking bribe in his office. Civil servant refuses bribe, but he comes to know that a senior is taking bribe. If the person is having this view, or if you see integrity from this point of view, then the person will report that corruption or bribery. He will not remain silent. He will report, despite the consequence or after effects. That is what? Integrity is not merely a personal virtue. It should be in the public. You should be able to have the courage to say that I am a person of integrity in the public, and this is what I have done. And the public can see what I have done. A criminal or a terrorist or a corrupt civil servant cannot go in public and justify that, because the social dialogue will expose his criminal deeds. Are you able to understand? Cheshire Calhoun this lady has taken integrity from a personal virtue to a social behavior. So integrity does not mean simply I am doing right thing. If there is corruption in department, I do not have anything to do with that. How can I do? What can I do? No. Integrity means if you come to know about the corruption, you should take the proper channel, you should expose it and stop it as if possible. So only people having this kind of moral fiber can be called people having integrity. So integrity is something You should be able to defend your deeply held moral conviction in public. A corrupt civil servant cannot defend. A criminal cannot defend. A terrorist cannot defend. Are you able to understand? This is the most appropriate definition or way of looking at integrity. Integrity as standing for something in public. A civil servant refusing to take bribe or is clean is an honest civil servant. But a civil servant who reports corruption and take actions to prevent it, and even going to the extent of media, etc., is a person having integrity. Are you able to understand? You see, questions have been asked. Please say this. Question can be asked either definition of these terminologies, or question can be asked like this. Statement type. Apart from intellectual competency and moral qualities, empathy and compassion are some of the other vital attributes that facilitate civil servants to be more competent in tackling, etc. Statement type question can come, or like this statement type. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless, but knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. What do you understand by this statement? What do you understand by this statement? Explain with your stand with illustration from modern context. Or question can be like this. Like what? Like this. What do you understand by the following terms? No break. You require break. 2 minutes break. Only 2 minutes. Let us start. So the questions can be like this. What do you understand by the following terms? Now in this question there is no need for writing an intro. How many terms are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there is another part. Indicate 2 more attributes which you consider important. When the question is like this, what do you understand by this? Let's say, what do you understand by integrity? There is no need for writing a separate introduction. You can write this way. Integrity means this, like that. For example, we have another question. Okay, I'll show that later. There is a question with respect to constitutional morality. The question is like this. What do you mean by constitutional morality? And another part. So in such type of question, there is no need to write a separate intro. Directly you write it. Constitutional morality is, or constitutional morality means, like that. Right? And because of 10 marker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you must limit things. If you write integrity in one page, then what happens? You cannot write other. Always remember, so limit the content, right? Similarly, integrity, perseverance, go through that, spirit of service. Identify 2 more attributes. So 5 you wrote. We can take 2 from where? That 7 we studied. We can take what? Don't, integrity already, perseverance, spirit of service, commitment, courage of conviction, openness you can take, yes or no, leadership you can take, objectivity you can take if you want, whichever way. But try to identify most important one. So that 7 values is what? The 7 values are reservoir, from where you can draw. I will take one question as far as integrity is concerned. Then we will go to, yes, this one. What happened? Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless. But knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. What do you understand by this statement? Explain your stand, etc. This is the question command. Command is what? What do you understand and explain. This is the statement. This is a question where you should write by making 2 headings. Because integrity without knowledge is weak and useless. One part. Knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful, another part. Now you don't have to repeat the same language given in the question. You can simply write integrity without knowledge, weak and useless, or integrity without knowledge, or problems of integrity without knowledge. Instead of using this now, what you can use? Problems of integrity without knowledge. Here, problems of knowledge without integrity. So or no? So instead of writing this way, what you can do? Simply problems of knowledge without integrity. What is the benefit? 2 benefits are there. 1, 3 benefits. What are 3 benefits? Examiner will be happy that you are not reproducing the question. Number one. Number two, time. Number three, space. Are you able to understand? Now, this question is dealing with a conflict. Integrity without knowledge is problematic. Knowledge without integrity is also problematic. Both are required. Yes or no? Integrity is also required. Knowledge or competency is also required. So that is why a way forward need to be written. That is what we have written. Harmonization of integrity with knowledge or end knowledge. This is the structure of this question. Conclusion need to be written. Now let us see this. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless. If the civil servant has integrity but no knowledge or competency, what will happen? If the civil servant has integrity but no knowledge or competency, or very less knowledge or competency, will the civil servant be able to do their job properly? Will they be efficient? Will they be efficient? No. So whatever job the civil servant do, the civil servant will be inefficient or ineffective. Now let us discuss or brainstorm what are the jobs the civil servant does. എന്തൊക്കെ പണികളാണ് സിവിൽ സർവൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക? Policy advice, policy implementation, then monitoring and supervision of junior, then maintenance of rule of law. For example, police SP അറിയില്ല തോക്കെടുത്ത് എങ്ങനെ വെടിവെക്കണം എന്ന്, ലോ എന്താണെന്ന് അറിയില്ല, IPC അല്ല BNF എന്താണെന്ന് അറിയില്ല. You know one thing, many people just go through and read. It has been a record that many police officers were unable to complete or pass their examination properly. Still they are being appointed. Just because you are passing an examination does not mean you have the competency. Right? Just because you are completing your training does not mean that you have the competency. So it is not necessary that you completed your training, it means you have the necessary competency. No. It is true. Of course, training will provide what? Academic knowledge. But the field experience, the real life experience, the real job, you should learn from the field. That is why you will find many times the high courts in many states have come very hard on these officers because they do not know the law. And one of the most misused law is preventive detention. That SP Sujit Das, yesterday we were discussing, one SP who called MLA. He is also passed training. So no? Training കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ല അയാൾ വന്നത്, എന്താ ചെയ്യണേ? Challenge to rule of law. He is incompetent or he may have inefficiency or whatever that might be. I am just giving an example. When the civil servant does not have the knowledge or competency, then what will happen? Policy advice. The policy advice he has to give or she has to give to the minister will be what? Having no substance. Similarly, implementation will suffer. Don't know how to implement. Then monitoring supervision. If he does not know, how can he monitor and supervise? Teacher അറിയില്ല എങ്ങനെ ടീച്ചർ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെ പഠിപ്പിക്കുക? Similarly, rule of law, police officers or administration, district collector does not know on what circumstances section 144 need to be implemented, or what are the various provisions under, let's say, disaster management act, or let's say under NSA or essential commodities act. Challenge. Or SP does not know how to manage their police district. Impact on career advancement. Career advancement of who? The civil servant himself. Do you think that civil servant not having competency or knowledge, will he be promoted? Will he? Okay, if you have the political commitment, you may be. But in general, that is not acceptable. No government will do that. Because the promotion till joint secretary is based on, you can say, number of years of service. But joint secretary is empanelment, which means selection. So joint secretary, additional secretary and cabinet secretary, people having that competence and knowledge, they are being appointed. So there will be problem with the career advancement or career of civil servant. If the civil servant is seen to be a person having less competence, less knowledge, then will be transferred to other department. There are many police officers in Kerala, IPS. They are not part of real police. They are MD of some corporation. They are MD of some corporations or some statutory bodies like that, or some companies of government. Go home and search. Police officers heading corporations and government companies in Kerala. You are Tomin Tachingari. He was retired. He was the MD of KSRTC. You will find some people like that. I am not blaming him or criticizing him. I am saying that many individuals who cannot handle law and order intelligence, they are being transferred to other such inconsequential departments. Maybe this transfer might be due to political rivalry or many other thing. I am not attributing any motive or any incompetency, but I am giving an example. It is seen that whenever you seem to be incompetent or not able to handle the situation properly, you will be transferred maybe to some inconsequent departments or heading some PSUs. Clear? Similarly, weak accountability, unhealthy work culture, etc. Now, this is integrity without knowledge. Now, knowledge without integrity. You have the knowledge competency, you are effective, efficient, you know everything intellectually, technically, but you don't have the integrity. You don't have the integrity. What is the problem? Please read this and tell me if you understand anything, if you have some doubts. Please read. Knowledge without integrity, that is the content. Not this. This is a classic example of brainstorming and developing those frameworks which we discussed. Political, administrative, technological, judicial, international, educational. Only explaining them. So, at the international level, what is happening? Scientists and engineers use their expertise to develop nuclear, chemical and biological weapons that can cause mass destruction. So, no. If you have integrity, you would not have done that. Judicial, judge, it is self-explanatory, judge. Multiple examples we have in the country. Technology, the cyber criminals, for example. Cyber criminals is a good example of knowledge, competency, no integrity, right? Similarly, administrative, economic, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi, all those people who have siphoned off millions of rupees from India and ran away. Fraud cheyan buddhi vende. Adanadu. Fraud cheyan buddhi venam. Buddhimarke cheyan petlu. Allatharku cheyan pettilla. But knowledge venam. So that is how it is. So harmonization, how to harmonize? We require both integrity as well as knowledge. Integrity is also required, knowledge or competency is also required in civil service. How to bring these two? എങ്ങനെ കിട്ടും? പബ്ലിക് സർവീസ് ബിൽ, കോഡ് ഓഫ് എത്തിക്സ് ഇംപ്ലിമെൻ്റ് ചെയ്ത ഇൻറ്റഗ്രിറ്റി വരുമോ? തിയറിറ്റിക്കൽ വരാം. So that is one point here. Public service bill, remember that 3 values, code of ethics, code of conduct. That is one way. DOPT, UNDP, civil service competence framework. Department of Personnel Training, DOPT, and UNDP in 2014 developed a civil services competency framework having 4 E's. Having 4 E's. Four E's. One E is ethos. Another one is efficiency. Another one is ethics. Fourth one is equity. A civil servant should have ethos of public service, efficiency, ethics, and equity. Efficiency is what? Knowledge and competency. Ethics means what? Integrity. ഇതൊന്നും എവിടെയും കിട്ടില്ല നിങ്ങൾക്ക്. ഇത് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയതാണ് ബുദ്ധി ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ട്. കോപ്പി അടിച്ചൊന്നുമല്ല. Copy means points are there scattered in my mind, but I used them and written it here like this. For that, it becomes a consolidated, appropriate, relevant content for you. Mission Karma Yogi. From what? Mission Karma Yogi aims at what? Creating a breed of field servant who have both knowledge and efficiency. From rule-based to role-based. Role is what? Integrity as well as effectiveness or efficiency. Mission Karma Yogi, you must read about Mission Karma Yogi. Role modeling and leadership. If the senior civil servants depict integrity as well as competency, if let's say the IG or DIG or DGP is having what? That kind of integrity and competency. A new recruit, in fact a recruit just passed out from the training academy like a ASP or SP, they will be what? Influenced. So role modeling and leadership in the administration is very important. Are you able to understand? Similarly, performance management system. Career advancement decisions, promotion, appointment, increment, training and development, right? Empanelment, writing that ACR. ACR means annual confidence report. Annually, the performance of the civil servants will be mapped. എന്തൊക്കെ നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തു, എന്തൊക്കെ നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തില്ല എന്നുള്ളത്. Right? These are all part of performance management system. We do not have a performance management system right now as envisaged by second IRC. But if a performance management system is developed which integrate both the attributes of integrity along with competency or knowledge, then that can provide what? Incentive for the civil servant to have both. ഇപ്പോൾ ജനറലി എന്താണ്? ഇൻറ്റഗ്രിറ്റി അല്ല, കോമ്പിറ്റൻസി, നോളജും എഫിഷ്യൻസിയൊക്കെയാണ് മാപ്പ് ചെയ്യണത്, മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യണത്. ക്ലിയർ? കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ലേണിംഗ് ആൻഡ് ഡെവലപ്മെൻറ്റ്. എ സിവിൽ സർവൻറ്റ് ഷുഡ് കണ്ടിന്യൂ ടു ലേൺ. നല്ല കോമ്പിറ്റൻസി നോളജ് കിട്ടുള്ളൂ, പിന്നെ ഇടയ്ക്ക് എത്തിക്സും പഠിക്കാം. അപ്പോൾ ഇൻറ്റഗ്രിറ്റി വരട്ടെ. സോ ദിസ് ഇസ് ഹൗ യു ക്യാൻ റൈറ്റ് ഇറ്റ്. ക്ലിയർ? Now let us discuss constitutional morality. Very easy. Constitutional morality. Okay, this is something I should tell you. How can we define a code of ethics? How can we define a code of ethics? There was a question here. Say this. Suggest a suitable model. Suggest a suitable model for code of ethics to maintain integrity, probity and transparency in governance. So the question is asking you to suggest a code of conduct model. So what I have done, a code of conduct, if you, sorry, not code of conduct, code of ethics. Here I was using code of conduct. Code of ethics, code of ethics. Suitable model for code of ethics. Now for a code of ethics model, three things are necessary. A legal backing, that is statutory law. One, right? Number one is statutory law or legal backing. Number two is values. Number three is a mechanism to implement that. If let's say civil servant is upholding integrity, so there has to be an implementation or a mechanism which protects the civil servant, yes or no? So that is what three pillars of the model of code of ethics. One pillar is code of ethics having legal backing, statutory backing. Second is the value system, like integrity, impartiality, commitment, empathy, etc. And there should be proper definition of that. What do you mean by integrity? എന്നാലല്ലേ സിവിൽ സർവൻസിന് അതെന്താണെന്ന് അറിയാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. സോ പ്രോപ്പർ വർക്കബിൾ പ്രാക്ടിക്കൽ ഡെലിനിയേഷൻ ഓർ ഡെഫിനിഷൻ ഓഫ് റെലവൻറ്റ് ടേംസ്. എന്താണ് ഇമ്പാർഷ്യാലിറ്റി, എന്താണ് ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ്, എന്നാൽ അറിഞ്ഞാൽ മാത്രമല്ലേ അവർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് വർക്കബിൾ ഡെഫിനിഷൻ, പ്രാക്ടിക്കബിൾ ഡീറ്റെയിലിംഗ് ഓഫ് ദ വാല്യൂസ് ഓൾസോ നെസസറി. പിന്നെന്താ, ഈ കോഡ് ഓഫ് എത്തിക്സിൻ്റെ വാല്യൂസ് സിവിൽ സർവൻസ് ഇംപ്ലിമെൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ, ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്ന് നോക്കാൻ ഒരു മെഷീനറി വേണം. ഒന്നാമത്തത്, ഈ സിവിൽ സർവൻസ് ഈ വാല്യൂസ് ഇംപ്ലിമെൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ, ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അവർക്ക് എന്ത് വരുന്നു, ത്രെറ്റ് വരുന്നു, അവർക്ക് പണിഷ്മെൻറ്റ് കിട്ടുന്നു. ഇതൊക്കെ തടയാനും ഇവരുടെ ഗ്രീവൻസ് ഒക്കെ കേൾക്കാനും ഒരു ബോഡി വേണം. അതാണ് ഈ ബോഡി, ഇൻഡിപെൻഡൻറ്റ് പബ്ലിക് സർവീസ് കമ്മീഷൻ ഓർ ഇൻഡിപെൻഡൻറ്റ് ബോഡി ടു എൻഷുർ ദാറ്റ് ദിസ് ethics is implemented and honest civil servants are protected from penal consequences. Clear? Now let us deal with constitutional morality. Governance we discussed. Yes. Please read. These are the questions that have been asked. This question, second one is in GS2. GS4 അല്ല, അത് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. പക്ഷെ പറയുന്നത് എന്തുകൊണ്ടത് എഴുതിയേക്കണമെന്ന് അറിയോ? ബിക്കോസ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആർ ആസ്ക്ഡ് അബൌട്ട് കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷണൽ മൊറാലിറ്റി ഇൻ പേപ്പർ 2, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് GS2 ആസ് വെൽ ആസ് GS4. ബട്ട് ദ വേ യു റൈറ്റ് ദി ആൻസർ ഇൻ GS2 and GS4 with respect to constitutional morality should not be identical. Ethical terminology, ethical vocabulary, ethical concept you must use as far as possible in GS4. In GS2 you can use what? The political terminology. Not political, I would say polity, constitution. Right? So let us see the question. What is meant by the term constitutional morality? So what you should write? Constitutional morality means, അങ്ങനെ തുടങ്ങാം. How does one uphold this? How does one uphold? How can you uphold constitutional morality? What all things you should do for that you can uphold it? That is one. Write short notes in 30 words. Short notes. Definition, some example like that. Then 1B. Constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment but a product of civil education and adherence to rule of law. Examine the significance of constitutional morality for public servant, highlighting the role in promoting good governance, etc., etc. വലിച്ചു നീട്ടാണ് അവർ ചെയ്യണത്. ദിസ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഈസ് വാട്ട്? അനാവശ്യമായിട്ട് വലിച്ചു നീട്ടാണ്. എന്തായിട്ടാ ചോദ്യം? സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് ഓഫ് കോൺസ്റ്റന്റ് മൊറാലിറ്റി ഫോർ പബ്ലിക് സർവൻറ്റ്. അതാണത്. വെറുതെ വലിച്ചു നീട്ടാണ്. So you don't have to be worried about it. You must know the more lengthy a question has, the easy the answer would be. ഒരിക്കലും ഇതിൻ്റെ ഹെഡിങ്ങിന് എഴുതരുത് എക്സാമിൻ ദ സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ എന്താ എഴുതുക നമ്മൾ? ഹെഡിങ് സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് ഓഫ് കോൺസ്റ്റന്റ് മൊറാലിറ്റി ഫോർ പബ്ലിക് സർവൻറ്റ് ഹൈലൈറ്റിംഗ് ദിസ് ദാറ്റ് എക്സെട്ര എക്സെട്ര എക്സെട്ര, തീർന്നു. അങ്ങനെയല്ല. എന്തായി ചോദിക്കുന്നത്? സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് ഓഫ് സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് ഓഫ് കോൺസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷണൽ മൊറാലിറ്റി ഫോർ പബ്ലിക് സർവീസ് ഫോർ പബ്ലിക് സർവൻറ്റ് 1 2 3 4 5. അതാണ് അത്രേ ഉള്ളൂ. ആ സിഗ്നിഫിക്കൻസ് മുഴുവൻ ഇതിൻ്റെ കോണ്ടക്സ്റ്റിലാവും. അപ്പോൾ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഇത്ര ലെങ്തി എന്ന് വെച്ചിട്ട് പേടിക്കരുത്. Right? Let us understand constitutional morality first. You have to write if you want. I will speak slowly because these things which I am going to discuss will not be there in this PDF. Constitutional morality. Let us understand first in a very rudimentary fashion, simple manner. Two words, constitutional and morality. We know both. What is constitutional? Relating to constitution. What is morality? Standard of right and wrong. Trello. So what is morality? What is constitutional morality? Standard of right and wrong as per the constitution. Right? The standards of right and wrong governing the conduct of individuals and institutions as per the constitution. In other words, constitutional morality is the morality of the constitution. Okay, you right. Constitutional morality is the standard of right and wrong governing individual and institutional conduct as per constitutional norms. In other words, it means the values and principles contained in the constitution, values and principles contained in the constitution, both explicit and implicit, which provide guidance for ethical conduct. Some of the values and principles are explicitly present in the constitution, while some are interpreted or derived from it. So basically, what is CM or constitutional morality? The morality of the constitution, the values, principles in the constitution, right? Now in the constitution, the word morality is present. Article 19, Article 25, 26. The word morality is present. Only morality is there. It does not tell you what type of morality it is. In the constitution, the word morality is present. Article 19, 25, 26. But the constitution does not say what type of morality it is. Whether it is constitutional, whether it is social, customary, or legal, whatever that might be. One view is that the morality in the constitution should be interpreted as social morality. Now, what is social morality? Morality of the majority members of society. Social morality means the values and principles or standards of right and wrong of the society. But in society, there may be majority and minority. So what we call social morality is actually the morality of the majority. Are you able to understand what I am explaining? Are you with me? The problem with social morality is that morality or the standards of right and wrong is generally the morality of the majority. If that is the case, then the interest, concerns and needs of the minority might be undermined. Majority might force their right and wrong over minority. For example, LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, transgender and others, are they majority or minority? Minority. Are they facing problems? Yes. Sabrimala case, they were minority, but majority was enforcing their own norms of right and wrong. So if you consider, or if you interpret, or if you view the morality in the constitution as social morality, then there is a huge problem that can result into majoritarianism. Are you understanding? This means the morality in the constitution should be viewed as constitutional morality. Number one. Now let us understand the origin and evolution of this constitutional morality. This will help you to understand this concept better. The term constitutional morality was used by a British historian of Greece called George Grote. George Grote. George Grote used the term constitutional morality to refer to the functioning of the government in the then Athens. In other words, the working of democracy in Greece. He referred this concept of morality to refer to or to explain the working of democratic government in Greece. Not the democracy that we have today, but different types. Now, what was constitutional morality for Grote? Mr. Grote, tell us, what do you mean by constitutional morality? According to Grote, constitutional morality is the paramount reverence to the forms of the Constitution. Paramount reverence to the form of Constitution. Paramount reverence means what? Paramount means what? Very big, or let's say utmost, right? Paramount. So highest you can say. Reverence means what? Reverence or respect. So highest respect to the form of the constitution. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, I'll explain what does this form mean. Give me a second. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, when he was discussing the draft constitution in 1948, used the concept of constitutional morality in the debates. Ambedkar said, democracy in India is only a top dressing on a soil which is essentially undemocratic. Democracy in India is only a top dressing on an Indian soil which is essentially undemocratic. Indian society is undemocratic. Casteism, religion, communalism, gender, patriarchy, etc. So on top of this, we are bringing democracy through constitution. We are talking about equality where caste system is prevalent. Yes or no? So only top dressing. Like, എന്താണ് പറയുക, കേക്കിൻ്റെ മുകളിൽ ഐസ്ക്രീം അല്ല, അത് കിട്ടില്ല, എന്താ പറയുക, കേക്കിൻ്റെ മുകളിൽ കേക്കിൻ്റെ മുകളിൽ പേസ്റ്റ് എന്താ കിട്ടുക, ഒരു സാധനം കിട്ടില്ലേ, ഒരു തരം ചുവപ്പ് ചെറി. ആ കേക്കാണോ വലുത്, ചെറിയാണോ വലുത്? കേക്കാണ്. സിമിലർലി ഇന്ത്യൻ സൊസൈറ്റിയാണ് വലുത്. ഇന്ത്യൻ സൊസൈറ്റി is what? It's essentially undemocratic. We are simply putting the cherry of democracy to make it beautiful and to appear beautiful. So Ambedkar said the Indian democracy is only a top dressing. അടിയിലത്തത് കാണാതിരിക്കാൻ ഡ്രസ് ചെയ്ത് കട്ടിനിട്ടില്ലേ, അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ചെയ്യണ പോലെ. So Indian democracy is essentially, Indian society is essentially undemocratic. Constitutional morality, hence not a natural sentiment. It needs to be cultivated. What he says, democracy in India is only a top dressing on a soil which is essentially undemocratic. Hence, constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment, it needs to be cultivated. What is constitutional morality? Upholding the ideals of the constitution. And what are those ideals? Equality, liberty, fraternity, secularism, etc. Justice. These are what? Not natural sentiment in India. So we need to cultivate them. This is one reference of constitutional morality. Now what Ambedkar meant by the term, CM, the same what Grote meant. Now what is this form for the constitution? Paramount reverence we know. Highest regard, respect should be there for the forms. What are the forms? Forms means the letter of the constitution. What is written in the constitution? For example, federal-state relation, role of governor, structure of government, federalism, separation of power, fundamental rights. All these are in the constitution. So Ambedkar wanted that all the organs of the state and the people and various other institutions, including the Election Commission of India, the CAG, all these people should work within the parameters of the constitution. Nobody should overstep their authority. They should faithfully execute their duties and responsibilities. So the governor cannot interfere in the administration of the state. The enforcement directorate cannot be used as a mechanism or an agency to pressurize the opposition ruled states and the opposition members. The Election Commission of India should not appear to be partisan and conduct the ill-conceived SIR. The judges should not be seen pro-executive and running an executive court. The citizens of this country should not prevent women from entering the shrines and temples and mosques. Forms of the constitution. But what we are witnessing today, maybe the individuals or the institutions including the Election Commission of India, the government and the ED others, they claim that we are following the form of the constitution. But the spirit of the constitution, the intent of the constitution is being undermined. Right? This is what forms of the constitution or form of the constitution. Now, let us understand this way. The reason why we are studying constitutional morality, this is because from the polity point of view, the Supreme Court has used this doctrine as a tool for interpretation of the constitution, as well as adjudicating the legality of rules, regulations, etc. Let me give you that example of Sabarimala. What was the basis of restricting women from entering the shrine? Okay, let me give you another example. Leave that. Adultery. You know, adultery? Adultery was a crime. And adultery, the law dealing with adultery was not gender neutral. It was against women. The law dealing with adultery viewed women as mere possessions of husband. The Supreme Court struck down this law because it was promoting gender discrimination and it was against the interest of women. So, because it was not gender neutral, it was promoting a paternalistic or patriarchy view, Supreme Court struck it down by using the doctrine of constitutional morality. As per the Supreme Court, this law is against the ideals and values of constitution like equality, fraternity, liberty, etc. In general, a law can be struck down by the Supreme Court or the High Court based on three criteria. In general, judicial review can be based on three criteria. One is if the law is against part 3 of the Constitution, that is fundamental rights. Number 2, if the law is beyond the competence of the concerned legislature, which means state legislature is making law, which is actually not in their competency. They don't have the power to make. They don't have the power to make. Who has the power to make? Parliament. For example, let's say, can the state of Kerala make a law on army or navy? Why not? Because the power is with the Parliament. So if the state legislature of Kerala makes a law on army, then the law can be struck down by claiming or by using lack of legislative competence. Third criteria is the criteria if that law violates any other part of the Constitution. So the courts have three prongs or three approaches or three methods or three tools for judicial review. But the Supreme Court has added another tool of adjudication or judicial review. What is that tool? That tool is constitutional morality. By using the doctrine of constitutional morality, the Supreme Court has invented a new doctrine to adjudicate. And that is why it is being criticized. Because Supreme Court has used this morality doctrine in adultery, in Sabarimala, in government of NCT, in Naute Johar, dealing with that LGBTQ. So it is criticized that the Constitution does not give power to the Supreme Court or the High Court to use constitutional morality as a doctrine to interpret and do their judicial review. And because constitutional morality is subjective in nature, yes or no? What is morality? Subjective. One judge might feel this is right, another judge might feel this is wrong. So subjectivity is an inherent problem. And third one is the vagueness of it. Any law can be actually interpreted or struck down by using morality. These are some problems of constitutional morality. This is the polity point of view. But when you write the answer in ethics, do not start with Ambedkar or Grote or the judgment of the Supreme Court in the introduction. That will be polity type answer. Right? What you can use? You can use an ethical terminology based intro. Like I have given you. Constitutional morality is the standard of conduct governing the behavior of individuals and institutions as per the constitution. So what are we writing here? Standard of conduct, ethical, governing behavior. This is how you should mold. So your answer of constitutional morality in ethics should not be as same as the answer in polity. Use gender equality in content, gender equality, caste problem, like fraternity, liberty of individuals, accountability. Let me show you the slide here. This is what I have written. See this? Polity paper 2 demands institutional and legal definitions. Ethics requires values, intent and behavioral guidance. You can use Ambedkar, you can use judgment as supporting arguments. Don't make it the major argument. Clear? Please read definition for you. Moral values. You see, what are we using? Moral value, ethics, ethical wheel guiding human action. Human action. And governance, just governance. So this is how you make it. So you should have definition ready. I have given you, right? This one you must use in the ethics. Significance of constitutional morality. What is the significance of this morality? Number one, ethical decision making. Again, don't make it polity-centric. Don't make it polity-centric. It's very easy. Please read. If the civil servants or the public servants uphold constitutional morality, then what it can result into? Ethical decision making. Provides a principled framework for resolving ethical dilemma value conflict. If law and duty or law and compassion conflicts, what they can do? What is appropriate as per the constitutional morality they can do. So ethical dilemma. Remember in yesterday's class we discussed, yes or no, that Subhash and Vikas. So if he is unable to reach to a conclusion, what is most appropriate as per the constitutional morality he should do. എന്തായാലും ചെയ്യാൻ നമ്മൾ എഴുതേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യാൻ നമ്മൾ എഴുതുക. മനസ്സിലായോ? Integrity in public service, or no? If constitutional morality is adopted, upheld, integrity in public service can be promoted. Please read. Encourages officials to prioritize constitutional values instead of personal or family or let's say community values. Impartiality and objectivity. It promotes what? Impartiality and objectivity. How? Fair, unbiased treatment. Because you will be having equality principle, impartiality principle. Similarly, citizen-centric governance. Governance is based on constitutional morality, which means governance will be focused on justice, equality, liberty, preamble, secularism. So governance will be what? Citizen-centric governance. Because the Constitution of India is a document for the upliftment, welfare and development of citizens. The Constitution is faced towards citizens. So the administration, the government, the public service should also be facing towards citizens. They should work for the citizen. Similarly, protection of vulnerable groups. Accountability and rule of law, social harmony, transformative social change. If constitutional morality is the operating principle of the administration, then what? You will find liberty is safeguarded. There will not be any illegal arrest. There will not be any illegal privileged detention. There will not be any encounter killing. The divide between rich and poor will come down because of equity. Welfare will be given. Proper development will be there. Proper educational institution will be built. Caste discrimination will be less. Religious polarization will be reduced. Gender equality will be promoted. So transformative system. Social transformation can happen. The Indian Constitution is not only a legal document but a powerful document for transformative social change. This is significance. How one can uphold? One question was there, na? What is this question? Yes, how does one uphold? How does one uphold? എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമുക്ക് അപ്ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുക? എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമുക്ക് ലേൺ ചെയ്യുക? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെയാണ് അത് പ്രാക്ടിക്കൽ ആക്കുക? എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുക? How one can uphold? One. Who is this one? ആരെ വണ്ണ്? നിങ്ങളാവാം, പൊളിറ്റീഷ്യൻ ആവാം, അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേറ്റർ ആവാം, ജഡ്ജ് ആവാം, മീഡിയ ആവാം. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു? വി ആർ ഡിവൈഡിങ് ദാറ്റ് വൺ ഇൻ ടു മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ സ്റ്റേക്ക് ഹോൾഡർ. Right, instead of writing a general answer. So, political executive. How the political executive can uphold constitutional morality? How? Respect the limit. ED-നെ CD-നെ ഒന്നും അങ്ങോട്ട് അയക്കരുത്. The government should work within the defined limitation of the constitution. Respect the limit. What are they doing? They are poaching the MPs. Are you reading newspaper? No, no. Why carefully? They are poaching. Why do you think they are poaching? Because they want to pass that bill. Last time when they brought 135th amendment, they failed because they did not have the majority. Now they are breaking, merging, poaching, everything they are doing. It is complete violation of constitutional morality. So political executive, if they act within the constitutional limit, or if they follow what is called constitutional conventions, or what Groth says, act within the limit set by law. Constitutionalism. Constitutional morality can promote constitutionalism. Constitutionalism is the idea that government power must be limited. So, if you uphold constitutional morality, then at the political level there will be respect to limits. So, that will promote constitutionalism. Good. Civil servant. How civil servant can uphold morality? In your work. Uphold integrity. Impartial objectivity and commitment over political pressure. Third, judiciary. The Supreme Court and the High Court should step up to protect the rights of individuals rather than the rights of the executive, which is what they are doing of late. Right? Cockroach Janta Party, you know, cockroach. It's a good thing that he called the young as cockroach. It has given rise to what we call a political movement. I thought it wouldn't happen because I thought Gen Z, so-called, are politically neutral in the sense that they don't have any interest in politics, or they may be addicted to social media, or they may be part of some, let's say, maybe brainwashed. But that was not the case. Right? The fact that it is still living, this movement, and they have organized many protest movements in multiple cities. Right? And it has also forced the Congress party to make education as an important agenda, and Rahul Gandhi is I think started protesting in Jaipur, and they are organizing protesting marches and others. And in this Gen Z movement, Cockroach Janta Party, you will find everybody from each and every caste and each and every religion. So the general religious ploy might not work. The anti-national calling and other things might not work. Let us see how does it go. But anyway, the point is that had the judges had constitutional morality, they would not have used the word. Right? And they would not have done a lot of harm to the country. There are multiple judgments where instead of constitutional morality, it is their social morality or political morality, which means support to the political party, have governed the judgment. Anyway, let us come to this. Citizens, like you and me, exercise rights responsibly. Your rights should be exercised responsibly. Respect diversity and fulfill fundamental duties. Remember, fundamental duties should not be forced on you. If you feel you should do it, and it should be. But there should not be any legally backing implementation of fundamental duties. Educational institutions, educational, promote constitutional values, civic responsibility and ethical citizenship. The teaching, the role modeling in the educational institutions, they should promote that. Media and civil society. All the points are independent, self-contained. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is how you should think and write. That is the idea of showing with us, right? So we have completed constitutional morality. Let us discuss emotional intelligence. This is last class now of ethics. Let me discuss emotional intelligence. Very, let's say, it will take 5 minutes. The flow. We will deal with emotional intelligence. Very important topic. Every single year you will get question from EI. EI means emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the ability or capacity to identify and manage one's and others' emotions. Emotional intelligence as a concept means the ability or capacity to identify and manage one's own emotions and emotions of others. So EI is not individual specific. It is also socially embedded. Emotional intelligence concept was actually given by Salovey and Mayer. Given by. But the concept of EI is popularized by. In fact, the very reason why we are studying EI is because of this individual. Daniel Goleman. This fellow wrote a book, Emotional Intelligence, in early 1990s, which has become so popular that everybody is talking about EI. Now, what was EI meant for this fellow? For Goleman, what was EI? The same thing which we discussed. Emotional intelligence is a capacity or an ability to identify and manage one's own emotions and the emotions of others. As per Goleman, emotional intelligence has 4 components. As per Goleman, EI has 4 components. What are the components? Self-awareness, self-management, social awareness. Relationship management. Self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship management. Now what if this one? Sorry. Self-awareness. എന്താണ് self-awareness? Self-awareness is the ability to understand and control one's emotions. Self-awareness is the ability to understand and control one's emotions and its influence on your thought and behavior. So this self-awareness is the ability to understand one's emotion and its influence over one's thought and behavior. It includes knowing one's strength and weaknesses. Having self-confidence and emotional self-control. Self-management. It is the ability to constructively and healthily manage one's emotions and healthily manage one's emotions. It includes, write this, PAAS, code for you. It includes this. P stands for positive outlook. A stands for adaptability. P stands for positive outlook. A stands for adaptability. Next, F stands for achievement orientation. F stands for emotional self-control. Orientation. F stands for emotional self-control. You see, can you tell me in the self-management what we have written? Self-management, what we have written? Sorry, self-awareness. In self-awareness, what we have written? Have we written emotional self-control or emotional self-awareness? In self-awareness, instead of control, write awareness. Instead of emotional self-control, in self-awareness, write emotional self-awareness. Clear? You can have this code here, triple S. Strength and weakness, self-awareness, then self-confidence. ഞാനിത് എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് പറയുന്നത് വെച്ചാൽ question they ask, conceptual question they ask. So without concept like this, you cannot write the answer. And this is actually psychology. So no. So the terminology might be very difficult for you to remember. That is the reason I am dictating and giving you code so that you remember. And not only that, if you have the conceptual clarity properly, you can take this concept in writing the answers. I will show you how. Don't have to think anything else. This can be taken, molded and articulated, and you can write the answer. Social awareness. Social awareness. It is the ability to understand others, needs, emotions, concerns, etc. And take emotional cues from others. And take emotional cues, CUES, from others. And feel comfortably in social setting. And feel comfortable in social setting. നിങ്ങൾ പലപ്പോഴും കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടാവും ചില ആൾക്കാർ പെട്ടെന്ന് മിങ്കിൾ ചെയ്യും ആൾക്കാരായിട്ട്. ഒരു കല്യാണത്തിന് പോവാണ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഫംഗ്ഷന് പോവാണ്, ഒറ്റയ്ക്കാണ് പോണത്, പെട്ടെന്ന് ആൾക്കാരായിട്ട് മിങ്കിൾ ചെയ്ത് അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഭയങ്കര സോഷ്യലാണെന്ന്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വാട്ട് വി ആർ റൈറ്റിംഗ്. So those individuals have what? Comfortable. They are in social setting. They are really comfortable. It includes empathy, organizational awareness, etc. Fourth one, relationship management. It deals with ability to develop and maintain healthy relationship, communicate effectively, and work based on team orientation. It includes conflict management, influence and persuasion, leadership, influence and persuasion, 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 coaching and mentoring, etc. Whatever we have written, that 4 component, these are the components of EI. And what we have written now, it involves, like that we have written, triple S and pass, etc. These are competencies. These are what? Competencies. So what are the competencies which emotional intelligent people will have? Self-confidence, emotional self-control, self-awareness, empathy, organizational awareness, coaching, mentoring ability, leadership. Yes or no? Positive outlook, achievement oriented, etc., etc. Clear? Now let us apply this in the question. എന്തെങ്ങനെ? സൂം ഔട്ടോ? എവിടെ? ഒന്നില്ല. നമുക്ക് ഓപ്ഷൻ കിട്ടണില്ലല്ലോ. വെരി ഗുഡ്, ഇവിടെ കിട്ടി. Yes. Now let us deal with, okay, let us do one thing. Learning emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence can be learned. How can we learn? How can we learn? If we build self-awareness, if we build social awareness, if we build self-management, if we build the relationship management, yes or no? How can we develop the competencies? By developing the competency, you will develop the components, hence you will develop emotional intelligence. നമ്മൾ ആ ഇത് മാത്രം എടുക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. Whatever you have written, we will use it and write. Question is like significance of emotional intelligence. So how we can write? Significance of self-awareness. ആ 4 കമ്പോണൻ്റ് എടുക്കാം, എന്നിട്ട് എഴുതി കൂടെ? വേറെ ഒന്ന് ആ കമ്പോണൻ്റ് എടുത്ത് തന്നെ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യാം. Self-awareness, എന്താ significance? Individual will be able to harness their emotion and they can understand their strengths and weaknesses. For example, an aspirant or civil servant like that. So same component, same competencies, mold them. See this? Domain competencies, same thing. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇത്ര ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടിയത് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്. For that you will be able to apply it. Read this. Competency utility, which means significance. Because the topic is emotional intelligence, concept, utility and application. Same thing. Emotional self-awareness. Emotional self-awareness, what is the benefit? Prevents emotional bias in decision making. Yes or no? Self-control, composure under stress and pressure. Examination, ഭയങ്കര പ്രഷറാണ്. If you have emotional intelligence, what will happen? You will control it. That is what. Remember one thing, emotional intelligence has a very important role to play in your personal life as well as professional life. Ethics നിങ്ങൾ എത്തിക്കലാണോ എന്ന് നിർബന്ധമില്ല. But emotional intelligence you must learn, understand it. Because emotion has a very important role to play. Right? Similarly, adaptability, achievement orientation. നമ്മളിത് മാത്രമേ എടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളൂ എന്ന് നമ്മളതിനെ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നു. That is the idea. This is how you should learn. That is the reason I have explained that way. Same thing, competency. ഇവിടെ പോയി ചിലത് വരുന്നു, ചിലത് വരുന്നില്ല. ഹാങ് ആയോ? Almost 3 hours. Five more minutes. We can leave after that. സ്ലൈഡാ ഇവിടെ? ഇത് okay. Oh yes, very good, thank you. See the questions. Emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Definition you have, content you have. How can it be developed in people? How can build self-awareness, build that, right? How does it help in decisions? Same thing. 4. I think I have given this here. Let me see. Directly write about EI, because question is direct. What is emotional intelligence? EI means this, right? Heading, development of EI in people, significance of EI for ethical decisions. Read this. This is how we can develop EI. Self-awareness. Self-awareness, wait. Self-management, social awareness. നമ്മളെന്താ ചെയ്ത്? നമ്മൾ ആ ഫ്രെയിം വർക്ക് തന്നെ എടുത്തേക്കണത്. Okay. Then Self-awareness, എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യാം? Sensitivity training. You will be, when you are selected, you will be undergoing this training. Self-management, simulation exercise, etc. Then immersion field, empathy, this. What we have done? Achievement orientation, self-control, adaptability, empathy, conflict management, influence, teamwork, leadership, coach and mentor. എന്ത് നമ്മൾ എഴുതിയിരിക്കണതിൽ ഇതിൽ കണ്ടന്റ് എന്താ? Same thing what we have written. Only what we have done is we have articulated it, molded it. Right? Similarly, there are other questions also, you must go through that, right? This is emotional intelligence. You have shown emotional intelligence by remaining here for 3 hours, right? There are number of questions you will find, 16, 17, 18, 20, 25, 24, right? Do you agree? This is an important area. And even if they are not directly asking, you can use building emotional intelligence or developing emotional intelligence as a way forward in many questions. And case studies also. So that is the application of that, right? So we have, in the 3 days of lecture, what all topics we have completed? Ethics and morality, ethics and law, aptitude, foundational values, constant morality, then attitude, case studies, then code-based questions, then emotional intelligence, governance, then, right, so we have done a lot of topics within the constraint of time. There is one topic which is left, that is conscience, which you must read from the notes. It is very easy. Right, I have provided that here. There is critique of emotional intelligence, measurement, it is difficult to measure. Then dark side, because people who have emotional intelligence can manipulate others. That is, yes, of course, right? And conformity, because emotional intelligence is all about good thing, positive thing. So there is a problem. Read this. IQ, EQ, okay, very good. Conscience. Conscience is the moral judgment arising out of your value system that triggers reasoning and emotional response, ultimately directing behavior. Write it down. Conscience is a moral judgment. Moral judgment based on a person's value system, which triggers reasoning and emotional responses. Reasoning and emotional responses. And emotional responses. Ultimately influencing behavior. Ultimately influencing behavior. You see, the idea is like this. Let me just show you. One minute. Right? The sequence is like this, sequence, event, reasoning, this is the sequence of conscience, how conscience is formed. Simply speaking, conscience is what? Sense of right and wrong. പക്ഷെ അത് ശരിയല്ല, ആ ഡെഫിനിഷൻ ശരിയല്ല. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ ഇങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഒരു ഇവൻറ്റ്, ലെറ്റ്സ് സേ ഇവൻറ്റ് ഈസ് വാട്ട്? കറപ്ഷൻ ഇൻ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെൻറ്റ്. When you see corruption in your department, your value system get triggered, value system. And the value, let's say you have a person having integrity, responsibility, accountability, all those value. അപ്പോൾ ഇൻറ്റഗ്രിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ എന്താവും? ചിലപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വിഷമം വരില്ലേ? ഓ, കറപ്ഷൻ നടക്കണോ? സോ ഇൻറ്റഗ്രിറ്റി വേവ്ഡ് വാല്യൂ സിസ്റ്റം വിൽ ട്രിഗർ റീസണിങ് ആൻഡ് എമോഷൻസ്. റീസണിങ്, I should report, I should uphold rule of law, I should not allow this to happen. At the same time, emotions, fear maybe. What if the department punishes me? If I don't report, then feeling of guilt, remorse, anger might be like that. It is simultaneously. It is like a fire alarm. Fire alarm. The alarm and the red light both go simultaneously. So the reasoning and emotion happen simultaneously. And based on reasoning and emotion, you form a judgment. What is the judgment? The judgment might be, I will report the corruption, I should report the corruption, or it might be, I should not report the corruption. If the judgment is as per the fact, it is called true conscience. Conscience can be two types: true conscience, erroneous conscience. If the judgment is as per the fact, what is the fact? Corruption happens. So ideally, what should be done? Report it. The judgment is like, I should report corruption. I should report the corruption as the judgment. This is in accordance with this. Right? So that is called true conscience. True conscience. If it is like, I should not, or I will not report, that is erroneous conscience. Right? Then there are different types also. Apart from this true and erroneous, there are certain conscience, certain, or probable, or not or and. Certain conscience. How confident are you with respect to this? Are you 100% confident that you should report? Yes, I am 100% confident. That kind of conscience is called certain conscience. Probable. Are you confident? Probably, I think I should. Then doubtful. I am in doubt whether I should do it or not. Clear? Conscience can be antecedent and or consequent. Antecedent conscience means before taking the judgment, what your conscience says. Conscience before taking the decision or before acting. Or let's put this way. Conscience before behavior is antecedent conscience. Conscience after behavior is consequent conscience. Right? Then there is crisis of conscience, voice of conscience, etc. You go through that. Right? And also go through the, let's say, what is that? Word file. I have also compiled a word file, not compiled, made a word file that will be given to you. maybe in printed form or maybe in online form. Should also go through that. Whatever learning you have gained, you must apply that, you must make your notes properly. Do not accumulate content, do not copy paste, right? And online students, this notes will be given in the link, online PDF link kittum, right? So we have completed the session, 3 grueling sessions, right? You enjoyed? Did you feel any benefit? You must read, revise and apply. Any doubts you are having, you can ask, not only now, later. Like you can contact the institute, they will give my number, right? You can contact me. So let us finish today. All the best, thank you so much. And online students also, you have been very interactive. Right, thank you so much. Jai Hind.